Hello. Thank you for being here with me. This is my 4th day of externalizing study from Tom Bunn's Panic Free. Tom Bunn refers to psychic equivalence quite a bit in this book, which is the experience of having an event in your an imagination that creates an impact in your physiology and experiencing that impact as though the event is actually happening. Not being able to use reflective function in an effective enough way that you know the event that's causing the angst is actually not taking place. Understanding this fallibility is something that I think is really productive and that can move us forward toward building, strengthening our reflective functioning and our executive functioning, in order that when our body and our minds register something, whether it be a dread or a hope, anything along the spectrum of what could be triggered to register as a change in our environment, that we fact check it, we understand it may be fallible. This can be comforting. What we can do is recognize that what's happening in our bodies, what is happening in our minds, isn't everything. It's a thought. And there is more. There's more to add to our appraisal of what is happening. And so, when we are provoked into a space of angst or dread, that recollection is something that we can build into our systems. There's more. Let's fact check this. Let's think this through. Those sensations of anxiety don't need to be the end all and don't need to accelerate into panic when we strengthen the movement toward reflective function. I'm on page 141. And this passage will reference psychic equivalence, so I want to give a quick definition for that so that it's clear as I read. Psychic equivalence refers to experiencing something in the imagination as though it is happening in reality. A weak reflective function, as we've seen, can result in psychic equivalence that allows imaginary fears to seem real and cause panic. But the opposite can also be true. A person can be comforted by the certainty produced by psychic equivalence. Instead of imagining disaster and becoming certain of it, they can imagine divine protection and are certain of it. Belief that one is protected in this way can control anxiety, but only, of course, if there's no doubt. A person who's been panic-free can become unexpectedly subject to panic if their certainty of safety is fractured by doubt. Peter Fonagy suggests that people with good self-esteem may have as many negative thoughts about themselves as people with poor self-esteem. The difference in self-esteem levels may be due to psychic equivalence. They experience ordinary negative self-evaluations, which we all have, in a psychic equivalent mode, and they feel these thoughts with the full force of reality. When a negative self-image comes to mind, it triggers stress hormones. If reflective function is weak, psychic equivalence causes the person to accept the negative thought as though it were fact. A person not prone to psychic equivalence would regard the thought as merely a thought. If we apply this dynamic to panic, we can see that an anxious person may have no more catastrophic thoughts than a confident person. The pivotal difference may be the strength of their reflective function. When rapid heartbeat causes the catastrophic thought, what if I'm having a heart attack? Stress hormones are released. If reflective function is strong enough to withstand the stress hormones released by the thought, the person recognizes the thought as conjecture. If reflective function is not strong enough, it collapses, and psychic equivalence causes the thought to be experienced as fact. Though catastrophic thinking is said to be more common in anxiety-prone persons, It may only seem more prevalent because such people take catastrophic thoughts more seriously. Reflective function can be strengthened and made less vulnerable to disruption by stress hormones. This requires ongoing discipline, consistently reminding yourself that your thinking is fallible. But don't worry, everyone's thinking is fallible. The person who recognizes that fact is ahead of someone who does not. There are so many passages written by other scholars that I could loop in to really enhance our understanding and add texture to this. What I'm choosing today is from The Untethered Soul by Michael Singer. The following vocal reading is from page 91 of The Untethered Soul. This was book 28 in my book week series. You can find more vocal readings and syntheses from my study of this book on biocadence.org. To end suffering, you must first realize that your psyche's not okay. You must then acknowledge that it does not have to be that way. It can be healthy. It is truly a gift just to realize that you don't have to put up with or protect your psyche. You don't have to constantly be mulling over what you said or what this person thinks of you. What kind of life are you going to have if you worry about these things all the time? Inner sensitivity is a symptom of non-well-being. It's the same as when the body sends pain or displays other symptoms when it's not well. Pain is not bad. It's how the body talks to you. When you overeat, you get a stomach ache. When you do something that puts too much stress on your arm, it starts to hurt. The body is communicating through its universal language, pain. Your psyche is communicating through its universal language, fear. Self-consciousness, jealousy, insecurity, anxiety, they are all fear. If you mistreat an animal, it becomes afraid. This is what has happened to your psyche. You have mistreated it by giving it a responsibility that is incomprehensible. Just stop for a moment and see what you have given your mind to do. You said to your mind, I want everyone to like me. I don't want anyone to speak badly of me. I want everything I say and do to be acceptable and pleasing to everyone. I don't want anyone to hurt me. I don't want anything to happen that I don't like, and I want everything to happen that I do like. Then you said, now mind, figure out how to make every one of these things a reality, even if you have to think about it day and night. And of course, your mind said, I'm on the job. I will work on it constantly. Can you imagine somebody trying to do that? The mind has to try to make it so that everything you say is said the right way, taken the right way, and has the right effect on everybody. It has to make sure that everything you do is interpreted and seen the right way and that nobody does anything that hurts you. It has to make sure that you get everything you want and that you don't ever get what you don't want. The mind is constantly trying to give you advice about how to make it all okay. That is why the mind is so active. You gave it an impossible task to do. Thank you for studying with me. Let me know if you have any questions about the material or anything else that emerged during the studies today. I hope you have a lovely day. Mwah.